If you want to speak English fluently, but feel stuck, this lesson will show you how to listen the right way by mastering both passive listening and active listening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to English Focus Daily. My name is Roxy. I am so happy you are here with us today. Do you ever feel frustrated because you can read a book in English, but you can't understand a native speaker on a podcast? Or perhaps you feel like you are listening all day, but you still can't find the right words when you try to speak. If this sounds like you, please listen carefully. The problem isn't your brain, it's your technique. Today, we are going to explore the worlds of passive listening and active listening, and I will show you how to combine them to improve your speaking and understanding much faster than before. First, let's look at the part of English that feels easy: passive listening. What exactly does this mean? Imagine your daily life. You are a busy person. Maybe you are driving your car to work, or maybe you are at home cooking a big dinner for your family. Perhaps you are at the gym exercising. In all these moments, you have an English podcast playing in the background, but you aren't giving the words 100% of your focus. You are thinking about your work, your food, or your workout. English is just background noise in your ears. Some people say, if I am not focusing, am I wasting my time? The answer is a big no. Passive listening is like training your ears to recognize the melody of English. When you do this, your brain is doing something very smart behind the scenes. It is becoming familiar with the rhythm of the language. It is learning where native speakers put the stress and how their intonation goes up and down. Think about a small child. Before a baby speaks their first word, they spend thousands of hours just listening to their parents. They don't understand the grammar, but their brain is getting used to the sounds. This is what you are doing. Passive listening reduces your mental resistance. It makes English feel less like a foreign thing and more like a natural part of your life. It builds your listening tolerance, so you don't feel exhausted after hearing English for just 10 minutes. Common examples of this are everywhere. Listening while washing the dishes, playing YouTube videos while cleaning your room, or even falling asleep while an English audio file is playing. It is low pressure and low energy. It's great, but is it enough? Not at all. If you only do this, you will never reach high fluency. You need something more powerful. That power mode is active listening. Active listening is completely different. In this mode, you are not a passenger, you are the driver. You give the audio 100% of your attention. You sit down, perhaps with a pen and paper, and you focus. You aren't just hearing sounds, your brain is working hard to analyze the message. You are looking at the grammar structures, you are noticing how words are linked together, and you are learning new vocabulary in context. Now, let's talk about the specific techniques you can use. This is the practical part of our lesson. There are many professional ways to practice active listening, and I want to explain them clearly so you can start today. Listen and repeat, or chunking. The first and simplest technique for English learners is listen and repeat, also known as chunking. What is chunking? When you speak English, you should not build every sentence word by word, because this is slow, difficult, and tiring. Chunks are groups of words that usually come together. This technique is the best way to start when you are a beginner or when the material is very difficult. This is simple but very effective. You listen to one full sentence or chunk, you pause the audio, and you repeat the sentence carefully. This gives you time to focus on every single sound and word stress. Let's practice a bit right now. I will say a sentence, and I want you to repeat it after me, using the exact same tone. I say, active listening is the bridge between understanding and speaking. Now it's your turn. Let's try one more, a bit longer this time. You repeat it after each chunk. Active listening is the bridge between understanding and speaking. Because it trains your brain to hear meaningful chunks, recognize common patterns in real speech, and use English more naturally in conversations. This second example is called chunking. You break sentences into small pieces and exercise your face muscles for speaking English. Delayed shadowing or echoing. If a voice feels too slow or easy, you can try delayed shadowing or echoing. In this version, you let the speaker finish a short phrase of about 3 to 5 words, and then you repeat it immediately while the audio continues. You are like an echo in a cave. This is excellent for your short-term memory. I will say 3 or 4 words, and you repeat them immediately, like an echo in the mountains. Active listening is the bridge between understanding and speaking. Because it trains your brain to hear meaningful chunks, recognize common patterns in real speech, and use English more naturally in conversations. Shadowing or simultaneous shadowing. The most powerful and professional technique is shadowing or simultaneous shadowing. Have you ever done it? In shadowing, you act like the speaker's shadow. You listen to a sentence and you repeat it right after the speaker, only 1 or 2 seconds behind. You don't pause the audio. You try to match their speed, their emotion, and their rhythm. This technique is suitable for intermediate to advanced learners. This is difficult at first, but it is the fastest way to train your mouth and your brain to speak fluently. Let's try it right now. I will read a sentence slowly, and you repeat it at the same time as me. Ready? Let's start. Active listening is the bridge between understanding and speaking because it trains your brain to hear meaningful chunks, recognize common patterns in real speech, and use English more naturally in conversations. How was that? If it feels difficult at first, don't worry. This exercise will boost your focus levels significantly. Listening with a transcript. Another great method is listening with a transcript. First, try to listen without reading anything. Then, listen again while reading the text. You will see words on the page that you didn't hear the first time. This is because native speakers often link words together. Reading the transcript helps you close the gap between your eyes and your ears. My suggestion is this: listen to this podcast once without looking at the text. The second time, put the text in front of your eyes and follow the lines as I speak. You will notice things like how fast I say the word and, or how I link words together. This fills the gap between your eyes and your ears. The good news is that all the videos on this channel use the listening with a transcript method. You listen while following the text with your eyes. Dictation. If you want to be very precise, try dictation. Choose a short audio clip, listen to one sentence, and try to write it down exactly. This forces you to notice the small, invisible words like a, the, in, or on. Now it's time to practice dictation. Please pause the video and bring a pen and paper. I am going to repeat a sentence. I want you to pause the podcast and write it down. If the speed is too fast for you, you can pause the video and write. Later, you can check the description of this episode to see if you wrote it correctly. The sentence is, active listening is the bridge between understanding and speaking because it trains your brain to hear meaningful chunks, recognize common patterns in real speech, and use English more naturally in conversations. Now check your work. Did you spell bridge correctly? Did you spell the word naturally with double L? This technique helps you hear the tiny sounds, like plurals or prepositions, that you usually ignore. Pause and predict. And for those who want to think like a native, try pause and predict. Stop the audio in the middle of a sentence and guess what the next word or phrase will be. This teaches your brain the logic of the English language. The technique means you try to guess what I am going to say next. This helps the logic of English grow in your brain. For example, listen to this sentence and try to guess the last word before I say it. At first, English listening felt like a big challenge. One more example. When you are driving, you are doing passive listening. This switches your brain from lazy mode to active mode. Focused listening, listening for a purpose. Now I am going to talk about a very smart technique called focused listening, or listening for a purpose. Imagine you are a detective. A detective doesn't just look at a room, they look for specific clues. Focused listening is exactly like that. Instead of trying to understand everything, you listen with one specific goal. You can choose to listen only for verbs, or you can listen only for intonation, noticing how the speaker's voice goes up and down. You can even listen for linking sounds, to see how two words join together to sound like one. This technique is powerful because it sharpens your listening accuracy. It's like a workout for your brain. It helps you understand the hidden layers of spoken English, those small details that we usually miss when we just listen normally. By focusing on one small thing at a time, you become much more precise. Now, pause the video, rewind it a little, and watch it again from the beginning of the technique called focused listening. This time, focus only on verb tenses. When you have a goal, your brain listens with laser-like precision. Summarizing and note-taking. Finally, we have summarizing. After listening to a 5-minute podcast, try to tell the story in your own words. This is the bridge that turns your passive vocabulary, words you only understand, into active vocabulary, words you can actually speak. Now, I want you to pause the audio and write 3 simple English sentences about what you learned today. For example, today I learned about passive listening and active listening. Shadowing is one of the best techniques to improve my language. Passive listening happens in the background while you do other things, whereas active listening requires 100% of your focus. You might be asking, which one is better, passive or active? The answer is the golden strategy, a smart combination of both. Many students make a big mistake. They think, I will only do passive listening because it's easy. They listen for hours every day, but after a year, they still can't speak. Why? Because they never practiced the active part. On the other hand, some students try to do only active listening. They try to focus 100% for 3 hours, but then they get a headache and they feel exhausted. They give up because it's too hard. The secret is the 80-20 rule. Spend about 20% of your English time on active listening. For example, spend 20 minutes every morning sitting at your desk, pausing, repeating, and analyzing a short audio file. Then, spend the other 80% of your day on passive listening. Let English whisper in your ear while you do everything else. This way, you get the deep learning from the active part and the ear training from the passive part. Before we finish, I have a very important tip for you to ensure you never forget what you learn. It is a technique called spaced repetition. If you listen to this episode only once, you will forget 80% of it by tomorrow. But if you listen to it again tomorrow, then again next week, and one more time next month, the information moves into your long-term memory. This is the only way to make the language stick forever. We are so proud of you for taking this time to invest in yourself today. Learning a language is a marathon. Every minute you spend listening, whether it is active or passive, is a step closer to your dream of being fluent. If you found this lesson helpful and you want more tips like this, please hit the like button and subscribe to English Focus Daily. It really helps our channel grow so we can help more students like you. And please leave a comment below. Tell me, which of these techniques have you tried before? Which technique are you going to try today? I read all your comments, and I love hearing your stories. I will be here to help you in the next session. Keep going, stay focused, and most importantly, be kind to yourself. Goodbye for now.